This week on SpokeTV, Waterloo landfill has made major changes.
Statistics show that only about 50% of the pop cans are going into the blue box.
And the region of Waterloo is looking to expand the ION LRT project to Cambridge.
The best way to handle that is to put the GO train in.
Plus, we attended the 36th annual Conestoga Polar Plunge.
And this just seemed like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top to this winter.
Find out more on this week's episode. Hello and welcome to SpokeTV. I'm Maddie DeMart.
And I'm Tyler LaCours. We have a great show for you today. First up, Waterloo's got a new garbage collection rule involving the amount of garbage that is allowed to be collected. SpokeTV's Christina Bruce talks about the implications of the new collection process.
Waterloo Region has made changes to the curbside waste collection, limiting garbage to 4 bags every 2 weeks. Changes are being made because the Regional Council is looking to protect and preserve the environment by reducing the amount of garbage being brought to the landfill. Kathleen Barsoom, coordinator of the Waste Management Division, says that most of the garbage going into the landfill could have been recycled.
Our statistics show that only about 50% of the pop cans are going into the blue box. The other half are wasted, going into the landfill.
Barsoom also says that the impact is more than just a local issue.
So the environmental impact is more than just a local feeling that we have that's sending to the landfill. The environmental impact is huge and is felt all the way across the world.
I'm here at the Niall Ludolf Materials Recycling Center, and they're looking to cut back on how much waste is being brought here. How are families in the region going to be affected? Jennifer Vasic, a mother living in Waterloo Region, says that she feels the changes to the curbside garbage collection is a good way to make people aware of the environmental issues happening around us.
I think if we as a region can learn how to be more socially responsible or environmentally responsible, it's not only important for our region to improve the environment, but globally, we're going to be supporting sustainable development.
With a 20-year life expectancy for Waterloo's landfill, the change in garbage collection is a hope for making the region more environmentally conscious. For SpokeTV, I'm Christina Bruce.
Thanks, Christina. The Waterloo region is now trying to get approval for an LRT train from Fairview Park Mall in Kitchener to the Ainslie Street Terminal in Cambridge. With an eye on transit, here's Justin Emmanuel.
Now that the LRT tracks in Kitchener and Waterloo are complete, there's a new goal for some people in the region, and it's called Stage 2. ION Stage 2, which was approved by the Regional Council in 2011, is what could be Cambridge's turn to get an LRT rail connected to the region.
Stage 2 will offer people carrying capacity over the 401 that we don't have today, and trying to improve that is very difficult in the future. We just don't have a lot of crossings right now.
Sawicki says that the funding is still needed to get the project off the ground, and in order to get that, the plans and the local support need to be there. I'm standing next to some LRT rails newly built in Kitchener. Some say that just seeing the rails exist may make it easier for people to visualize an LRT happening in Cambridge. Cambridge Mayor Doug Craig also believes that the best way to get Stage 2 approved is to increase ridership through multiple different ways.
We need a GO train or an LRT in Cambridge, and the best way to handle that is to put the GO train here. That will help immensely in terms of building ridership throughout the Cambridge area.
The benefits of the existing rails won't be seen until they begin their use in 2018. Until then, Sawicki says that unity is what the region needs the most.
If we're going to get funding, we're going to need to come together. Our partners at the city, the region, and the community, we are all going to have to come together to collectively have a voice that says we want LRT in Cambridge.
For SpokeTV, I'm Justin Emmanuel.
Thanks, Justin. The city of Guelph is following in the steps of Waterloo and Cambridge and is getting its very own tech hub. Guelph is getting its very own tech hub. The historic King Edward Hotel in downtown Guelph will be transformed into the new Inbox Marketer Corporation head office, a space for digital marketing and innovation. The building is located across from the Guelph Transit Terminal, which will allow easy access through the Toronto-Waterloo corridor. The former hotel is 17,000 square feet spread across 3 floors and is located at 2 Wyndham Street. The hub will open floor by floor in segments starting this month.
Coming up after the break, find out why a Cambridge man is sleeping in a tent in frigid temperatures.
A Cambridge man is sleeping outside for 3 months to raise awareness about homelessness. Stephanie Gick tells us about how one local man is making a big difference by living in the cold.
When Paul Tavares decided to spend 90 days and nights in the cold to raise awareness about homelessness in the region, he did it in a unique way. He set up a tent and nothing more on the property of Shoppers Drug Mart on Ainsley Street. He didn't say a word to the media. He just waited for people to notice what he was doing. That was 4 weeks ago. Today, Tavares is at nearly half of his $10,000 goal and says there's plenty of ways to donate.
We have a bank account at TD Canada Trust under the name 90 Days and Nights in the Cold, so they can go directly to any TD and deposit that way.
Tavares is also accepting clothing and food donations on site, and in just 2 days he has nearly filled his shed, which is emptied and delivered to shelters by friends and family.
For Tavares, one obstacle has been the constantly changing weather that we've experienced over the last 3 weeks.
It's gone from freezing rain to plus 15 to minus 15. Wind chill last night was minus 21. I had a little bit of frost on the inside of my tent.
For Tavares, the weather obstacle is one that reminds him why he's here, and he hopes others will remember that some people don't get to come inside after the 90 days is over.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to get people talking about it, and hopefully we can find a solution sooner rather than later, right?
All of the items and money collected from the fundraiser will be donated to homeless shelters and food banks in Cambridge. For SpokeTV, I'm Stephanie Gick.
Thanks, Stephanie. And after finishing his 90 days of camping out, Tavares plans on hosting an event May 6th to finish off the campaign on a high note. In other news, since 1954, firefighters across Canada have been raising money and awareness for muscular dystrophy. This past weekend, Guelph Fire hosted their 3rd annual rooftop campout. SpokeTV's Brittany Bordelon was at the launch of the event.
Guelph Fire hosted their 3rd annual rooftop campout over the weekend on top of Stone Road Mall. 6 of Guelph's firefighters took part in the national rooftop campout campaign to raise money for muscular dystrophy and support those that are affected by neuromuscular disorders. The 6 campers camped out for 54 hours from Friday morning 11 a.m. until Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Coordinator of the event, Matt Gervais, says the campout brings a unique challenge and a lot of attention.
My favorite part of the event is it draws a lot of attention to a cause that we support so dearly. So it kind of brings muscular dystrophy in a light that maybe it wouldn't be all the time for a lot of people. So that's to me, the best part about this event.
Carrie Fisher from Muscular Dystrophy Canada says the campout has been an amazing way to raise money and awareness on muscular dystrophy.
So as an organization, we support both our clients and their families and their caregivers, as well as research to ultimately find a cure. So we've been the charity of choice for firefighters since 1954. We're so lucky to have them and that they keep doing such a great job for us.
Since 1954, firefighters around Canada have been raising money for muscular dystrophy. To date, Guelph Fire has raised more than $300,000. Guelph Fire is hoping to beat last year's record and collect $12,500. A final tally will be announced later this week. For SpokeTV, I'm Brittany Bordelon.
Thanks, Brittany. Conestoga students recently demonstrated their design skills at an event where they competed to find solutions to real-world industry challenges. Justine Fraser has more.
The 4x4 Challenge at Conestoga College showcases and celebrates the entrepreneurial and technical skills that students possess. The event took place this year from February 28th to March 3rd. The first 4x4 Challenge obtained its name from a target back in 2012, which was that a minimum of 4 Conestoga College student teams would have 4 days to design and implement solutions from a few industry-provided projects or their own creative ideas, which gave way to the name 4x4 Challenge. The creator of the event, Ik Kalenko, believes in providing experience in entrepreneurial activities early to motivate students later.
There are too many students that come to Conestoga or and maybe other colleges as well. They come here because they want the job. They want a job in the industry, as opposed to realizing that I could make my own job in industry as an entrepreneur.
On the fourth and final day is the showcase, where students meet with professionals in the industry and are judged for awards. A team called Exsolvable created a universal TV remote, which could be used by kids with disabilities.
For someone who has cognitive issues or has mobility issues, can be really a headache.
A surprising win came from a group of first-year students called Acceptability, who created a gesture interpreter for spastic movement.
What we've done is we've used sensors to actually sense, that motion would be interpreted as a swipe left, for instance, and that motion would be interpreted as pushing a button without actually having to apply the strength.
The idea is all this specific motion becomes stabilized.
This annual event is hoping to have more students involved and grow in the future. For SpokeTV, I'm Justine Fraser.
Thanks, Justine. After the break, many people spend hours a week or even hours a day playing video games. Is all this time negative, or are there some benefits to gamers? Stay with us.
Video games and the experience have been taken to another level with the emergence of professional streamers. SpokeTV's Alan Broadhagen talked to streamers as well as experts to discuss the negative and positive effects of video games.
Whether you enjoy the occasional video game or you like to spend hours in a digital environment, everyone can agree that video games can be fun. But can they be too much fun?
The average use of video games by children between the ages of, say, 8 and 12 is 12 to 14 hours a week. Well, that averages a couple of hours a night.
As with everything, to be honest, everything should come in some form of moderation, and you're going to find just about anything from reading to just even academics that have their positive and negatives. Gaming is absolutely no different. You're going to have people that take it one step too far, and sometimes I traverse that boundary. Find myself maybe with a leg over, a toe behind it, We
all do.
Exactly.
Alex Lane and Megan Douglas have been playing video games since they were children and still enjoy them today.
I was raised on the PlayStation 1, I played the first system, I had PlayStation 2, ended up switching to Xbox 360, got addicted to Halo. It's just kind of been something that's always been a part of my life.
But like many things, video games sometimes get looked down on. But Douglas says that there are a lot of positives when it comes to them.
How much TV do you watch? Because the amount of time that they put into a TV when they're just passively sitting there and not actually incorporating into anything, you're just literally just watching something happen. When I'm gaming is active. I'm utilizing my brain, my spatial awareness is there, I'm working on hand-eye coordination, there's strategy, so it's, even though it's relaxing and it's my downtime, it's still a very active mental thing.
Child therapist Ruth Martin says that children may be gaining some of these skills, but that they can be missing out on some social experiences.
They're advanced in high tech and then using video games and all of the skills, the eye hand coordination and the skills that it takes to do one of those video games. And yeah, it takes memory, it takes a lot of skills, but it's not social. It's not interactive skills. So these same kids haven't learned how to negotiate an issue with a real live person with eyeballs. You're looking in their eyeballs and this kind of thing.
Douglas, who has dealt with anxiety and depression throughout her life, says that gaming has helped her get over those obstacles and that it can help others too.
It's so soothing to get into that 8-bit universe and just be creating and moving and building buildings, and you don't even know what the heck you're doing half the time. You're literally just sitting there I'm gonna kill this tree with my fists, and then you start, and then you build, and then you go, and by the time, your little shack is half built, you've completely calmed down and moved away from anything that's been bothering you.
Douglas also says that she sees video games allowing more shy kids to get out of their box and apply what they do online to their everyday life.
You start to interact with people here, and it's okay, you gain some confidence, you build things up, and then you can start applying these things that you're learning online to your actual everyday life.
Martin doesn't see it that way.
Excitement of the video games doesn't touch that level of need. So it might cognitively be stimulating, but I don't think socially and emotionally it meets the kids' needs.
Either way, video games are here to stay. For SpokeTV, I'm Alan Broadhagen.
Some people may be considering buying a virtual reality headset. Waterloo and now Guelph have another option with the opening of virtual reality arcades. Cassandra McNeil has more about the difference between the arcade and the at-home experience.
Control V in Waterloo is Canada's first virtual reality arcade, and it's trying to change the game for VR. Robert Brusky, CFO and partner of Control V, hopes that with technology expanding, VR is here to stay.
One of our prerogatives is to help the adoption of virtual reality by the masses. So as people get more comfortable with virtual reality through a gaming atmosphere, they'll likely take it on for other types of requirements, whether it's education or health or whatever they may think of.
$25 for a session at Control V, or $1,300 to $500 for your own personal headset. What's the difference?
Well, a lot of the headsets that people buy at like a general retailer where you just sort of slide your phone into, the experience on that is very minimal. It's sort of more of like a movie. You're looking around, just seeing what's happening around you.
With stores like Best Buy and Chapters selling VR headsets for smartphones, Sasha Heidelberger praised the arcade for bringing something different to the experience.
I prefer to come and get the full-on professional experience with the virtual reality that these guys have here, and I'm not really into the knockoffs and that kind of stuff. You come here, you get the full experience of virtual reality like no other.
This isn't the first time VR has hit the scene, but with new tech, brand support, and demos, it could be sticking around. For SpokeTV, I'm Cassandra McNeil.
Thanks, Cass. If you enjoy hockey but don't like the ice and cold, there could be another sport for you. After the break, we take a look at an emerging sport in the area.
Floorball, a popular hockey-based sport, is emerging in not only Canada, but specifically the Cambridge region.
In Cambridge, Monday night means floorball. The European-based sport is ball hockey with a twist. Smaller sticks, different rules, but still the same intensity. Although Cambridge isn't the only place it is played, with over 80 countries playing around the world, competing in not only league play, but international-based tournaments, such as the World Cup or the Under-19 World Championships. For more information on floorball in the area, visit www.floorballincambridge.ca.
And now with an insider's take on the sport, earlier this week I was lucky enough to be joined by one of the 4 Team Canada floorball representatives from the Cambridge region, Tyler Brush.
Joined here in studio by Tyler Brush, Team Canada floorball and runner of Floorball Cambridge. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So what is floorball?
Floorball is basically just a European indoor hockey. We play ice hockey and ball hockey in Canada so much. Floorball is basically that, but smaller sticks, different rules. It's huge in Europe, but yeah, it's basically just another form of hockey.
So what got you into floorball? Sorry.
Well, I was in high school in Cambridge, and I was coming up to the end of I played modern hockey growing up, travel hockey, and I was coming to the end of it, looking for something to do. A phys ed teacher pulled me aside. Showed me a stick he had just bought, thought about starting up a drop-in type of night in Cambridge. So I started playing there with him. We played in gym class a couple times. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I've been playing that was in 2009, so I've been playing for 8 years now, 8+ years, and been loving it ever since.
Floorball in Cambridge. So you run a league there on Monday nights. About how many people do you have in your league?
Last year we had 130 players between our winter and fall league. It's an adult rec league. And this year, we've just started our 2017. We have about 85 players so far.
So about you, you had the opportunity for 3 World Cups to represent Canada. Tell me what that was like.
Yeah, well, that was really exciting. My first opportunity was in 2012. I went to an open tryout. Didn't make the team originally for the qualifying tournament, but then we did qualify, we being Canada, and I got the call to come to Switzerland. So I was in Switzerland in 2012, I was in Sweden in 2014, and then 2016 I just got back from Latvia. And it's a great experience. I mean, floorball is so big over there in comparison to here, so I mean the finals matchup has somewhere to 12,000 to 15,000 people in the arena watching. It's on TV all over Europe and stuff. Unfortunately, the Canadian, when we play, we don't get quite that kind of, draw that kind of crowd, but there's still, there's hundreds of people there watching you, and you get treated like royalty, media after the games and all that kind of stuff, so it's a lot of fun.
Other than floorball in Cambridge, where else in Canada would floorball be popular?
There are certain pockets throughout Canada. New Brunswick has really come on the scene in the past couple years. Ottawa has a great group up there. I got a lot of buddies in Ottawa. Hamilton's got a good group, Toronto. And then I know out west, BC and Manitoba, there's some pockets in there too.
Sure, so you brought one of these sticks here?
Yeah, well.
Show that here, do you want to just?
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the stick. So I mean, different than a hockey stick, obviously, the blades, it's a plastic blade, holes in it, kind of like a lacrosse style, however you don't pick it up like a lacrosse stick. Great for aerodynamic, and then the shaft is just, a carbon fiber, similar to all the hockey sticks you have nowadays. You can really, with the good higher end sticks, you can really get a lot of whip in your stick and get a good shot. And then this is just the ball. It's just a wiffle ball, 26 holes. Bounces like crazy out there on you, so it really works on your hand-eye coordination and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so those are some of the main differences in equipment, stuff like that.
Thanks, guys. That was great to find out about floorball. I also noticed the clean shave for the show.
Yeah, I wanted to look cool for the camera.
Yeah, you know what's cooler than cool?
What?
Ice cold. Speaking of ice cold, the recent polar plunge just took place. Students and special guests took a dive for a good cause. SpokeTV's Stefan Singh has more.
Conestoga College students took the plunge on February 17th as the 36th annual polar plunge took place on the Dune campus. One of the judges was Miss Oktoberfest 2016, Vanessa Buttinger, and she knew what she was looking for in the jumpers.
Enthusiasm, how engaged is the audience, as well, best costume. You gotta do it.
Conestoga College second-year radio students were a big helping hand as they kept the audience pumped up as the host of the polar plunge.
Conestoga students and special guests took the plunge as all the money raised from the 36th annual polar plunge is going to Nutrition for Learning.
Nutrition for Learning helps feed kids breakfast around the Kitchener-Waterloo region. Some of those special guests included on-air talent from Dave Rocks and Lindsay Morrison from CTV Kitchener.
3, 2, 1. There you go.
Well, this is for a great cause. Obviously, I'm used to working in frigid conditions because I do the weather for a living, and this just seemed like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top to this winter. And even though it wasn't a freezing cold day, that water was very cold, so it's all worth it, all in good fun, had a great time.
The polar plunge was sponsored by various local businesses in the Kitchener-Waterloo region. After students took the chili dip, CSI had towels, hot coffee, and some snacks ready for them to warm up.
So far, it's definitely exceeded my expectations. Even, our judges table is only a few feet away, but we've been soaked a few times, so.
For SpokeTV, I'm Stefan Singh.
That looked freezing.
Yeah, I agree. Have you ever done a polar plunge?
I have not, and I probably won't because I'm much too fragile.
I'd try it. It seems like a good idea for a good cause. Well, that's all we have for today. Be sure to check us out on SpokeTV.ca, YouTube, and Twitter.